What's up, you guys? Welcome back to Legacy Decoded. This is a podcast about building boldly, thinking long term, and using AI to architect a life and business that actually matters. My name is Kalei Poteet, and this is where vision meets execution and short term hacks take a backseat to legacy level impact. Today, I have Davey Rickenbacker here with us today. We want to just dive a little bit into content creation, utilizing social media platforms, AI, and automation. So I really appreciate you, Davey, for hopping on with us today, man.
Yeah, man, dude, I'm so thankful that you were able to. Well, first, I'm thankful that we were able to make the connection at Creator Hub last year in
Right.
2004. I happened to be in Orlando this year, but not for Creator Hub. But it just so happened to be the same weekend, and I hate that I didn't get a chance to chop it up with you while I was there. So now is the perfect time for us to, cross all our T's and dot all our.
Yeah, man. I know you had some big stuff you were working on in the city that day. My apologies on not being able to help a little bit more. I thought it was a super cool project as well, man. Something super original. Do you want to kind of talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, man. So I've been doing content creation full time now for about a year. I went on with Snapchat, a Snap program that's called the Snapchat 523 program, where they highlight minority creators. There's about 15 of us that were selected from all across the country. I'm the only one that's based here in Atlanta. We've got a couple of them that are based on the West Coast, few in New York, few different other places, but basically, the premise is they want to set us up to where we can continue to do content creation full time for the rest of our lives. So
Mhm.
the caveat is they pay us $1,000 a month just to create. That goes with traveling, that goes with going to conferences. And in fact, that's how I found out about Creator Hub because one of my bosses in Snapchat, I don't know if you went to the Snapchat panel last year or this year,
Mhm.
but Brooke Berry, she was the host that had the pink hair.
Yeah.
She was hosting a panel at at Creator Hub, and that's where I saw the flyer. And I was like, you know what? This was the first month that the program had begun. And I like to see the first month of the program as a learning sponge. So I was
Mhm.
like, let me go to some conferences, let me sit in on some panels and just learn as much as I can learn. Not to say that I'm a novice or I was a beginner back then, but
Mhm.
you always wanna learn as much as you can when you're in this creative space.
That's pretty intense, man. It sounds like you're living your dream. A lot of people would love an opportunity like that just to be able to kind of, create full time, man. Is that still something that's going on, or how can people still be a part of that?
So, they've done maybe about 3 cohorts of this program, and they haven't been consecutive years. So, there may be a gap year in between. Our program does end next month, so they could be reinstating it in 2026, but I haven't heard any plans to do so. But I'm pretty sure that it will continue. I'm just not sure if it'll continue straight into 2026. If you want more information on how to apply when it's time to apply, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel at Where's Davy because I'm definitely going to be breaking it down sometime very soon.
Nice, man. Nice. Yeah, it sounds like a really great opportunity for a lot of people, man. So what does a day-to-day, like what does a typical day for Davey look like, man? How do you spend the mo majority of your time?
Yeah, bro. Well, this week is a very busy week, so I'm very thankful I was able to hop in and chat with you. So I'm based in Atlanta, and a lot of people don't know this, but Atlanta is like a nerd hub. Um, my niche is anything nerd lore, from anime, gaming to cosplay, all of that type of stuff. And this week is Dragon Con, and Dragon Con is basically the Atlanta Comic Con of all Comic Cons. So people think I'm going out there to have a good time and have fun. No, I'm going out there to work as a content creator, get this content. I think I'm going to experiment with some streaming. I'm fairly new to the streaming and live space, but
Mm.
I've got a camera guy that's gonna follow me around and do some things. So make sure you follow me on TikTok and Twitch at Where's Davy. But easy day to day for me throughout the week is Of course, Monday, I try to sit down with my little notebook and jot down all the planning that I have for the week. I'm really guilty of not using this iPhone the way that I need to use it. And I'm really trying to get back into that, using the reminder apps to
Mm,
show me all of the events that I have for the week. I have a very big calendar in my kitchen here where I have all of the events for the year documented. So I'll go to my calendar, see what's what for the day, and try to just get those content pieces out. I try to knock out putting my content pieces early in the morning so I don't have to worry about it later in the day. And I try to post once on Instagram. Sorry, excuse me. I definitely post on Snapchat in the morning.
mm,
Definitely post on YouTube Shorts in the morning, and definitely post on TikTok in the morning. And what I'll do is I'll start on TikTok and I'll post whatever that post is, because TikTok will save it for me without putting their logo on it. So
mm,
once they save it for me with whatever caption and whatever hashtags I use, I simply copy that and put it right there on Snapchat with the same hashtags, but I always add that one hashtag that's got to go on the Snapchat. For the listeners that use Snapchat, you always want to put hashtag spotlight so you can get visibility. And then I take that same video on over to YouTube. The hashtag you want to use for that is shorts so that it has visibility. Now, when it comes to Instagram and LinkedIn and Facebook, that's a little different. For
mm.
some reason, we treat Instagram like it's our professional image. Like, we're always about the aesthetic of Instagram, and that's something that I've had to get out of so that I can get more visibility and increase my algorithm, increase my insights, and all things of that nature. But so I'm trying to get around to posting in Instagram daily. But right now, I just post as I feel comfortable. I post as flexible as I can. During this year with Snapchat, I have been really content farming. So I have enough content that I can post daily,
Mm,
but that Instagram algorithm right now is so tricky that I don't know if daily works for me.
mm,
And then lastly, with LinkedIn, what I do weekly, I try to post at least on Mondays, because they say that LinkedIn is becoming more of a creator hub now. And even going to Creator Fest, I heard a lot of panelists saying that same thing. So I'm really trying to take LinkedIn a little more serious than I have been taking it. Um, so yeah, that's basically it. The morning time is really when you're gonna get all of that work in. The evening time is when I save for all of the events that I have to travel to, whether it comes to movie premieres, whether it comes to creator networking events, whether it comes to even just going to the gym. I
mm.
can get content from all of those things. But now the weekend, that's when the money might be made. So this weekend comes to Labor Day weekend, being here in Atlanta, and it's so many events going on. We got football games, we got Dragon Con, they got Blackhead Pride going on this weekend. It's gonna be hectic. So I'm gonna be out there with my phone in folks' faces, just trying to make it work.
I love that, man. Which, yeah, we're definitely expanding into LinkedIn a little bit more, YouTube as well, of course. What major shifts are you kind of seeing in the industry as far as content creating right now?
A major shift. You know what? I think that something that's been on my mind a lot is the fact that streaming services, and when I say streaming services, I mean like Netflix, Apple TV, everything that we're watching. We don't really have cable anymore. And that's a testament to what creators bring to the table. That ad revenue, those are the new commercials.
Mm,
I'm seeing that businesses are really relying on creators, relying on ad businesses and brands to get that stuff out so that we can push it on streaming networks. And
mm.
staying on the subject of streaming, they say streamers are the new rappers. So, just trying to create myself, not even just me, but I see that there's a strong presence in creators that are streamers, whether that be on Twitch or live streaming on TikTok, Instagram Live. There's the other one, Kick. I
Mm,
see that brands are putting a lot of money in there. And then the big one, which I'm sure you can speak a lot to, is how AI is changing everything. I mean, we're all using it. I'm only using Chat GTP right now, but I know there's so many other platforms that are using things to get done. When it comes to if I don't really want to service someone to get it professionally done, which I do try to do that.
mm,
I have a virtual assistant in Indonesia that I think I met at Creator Hub actually. But
wow.
if I don't want to go through him to get my stuff done, because sometimes that could take a day in advance. But if I want to get it right away, like if I need a thumbnail for a YouTube video, or if I need a flyer for a watch party that I'm going to be throwing, I'll go right in there to a Chat GTP. Now they ain't gonna get it right the first time, but I'm gonna talk to them and try to get what I need. So, AI is a space that's a big change in the industry now. And I think it's a change that we need to utilize because it's either you like it, you love it, or you hate it, but it ain't going nowhere. So you
Yeah.
got to adapt to it and make it work for you.
If there was like outside of just using it for ChatGPT, if there was like maybe one or two things that you would like to use it with what you do right now, what would that kind of be?
Yeah, you know what? Snapchat did have a what do you call those programs when they're not fully developed? There's a
Like
word
a
for it. I
like a
can't think.
beta?
Yes, yes. Snapchat had a beta AI program that I worked with last year, and it really got my screws turning on how the different ways you could use AI. So
Mm,
this was a fun one. Snapchat invited me to LA Comic Con to create for the weekend. And I had the bright idea. I was like, my niche is cosplay. I'm working for Snapchat. I should come up with a Snapchat superhero. So I put in the AI prompt, help me create a Snapchat superhero. What would it look, and they generated me all of these different type of images. I wish I could show the screen here, but you can check me out on Snapchat to see. And I crafted that baby from scratch just to look like how it would look like in the screen. And yeah, man, that's just one of the ways that I think that other than just content creation, which I guess that is kind of content creation, but I think that's one of the ways that are innovative that can help me with my hobby or with my craft coming down the line. If I have a new original design that I want to work on, I go to Chat GTP and see what they think of.
nice. Nice. So has other than that, have you seen like AI being a part of like pushing content, maybe like UGC content or different ways that creators can kind of use AI tools to, monetize their platforms at all?
I don't know if I've seen it personally or ways that creators can use to monetize it. Um, other than just the prompts asking
Mm,
like ways how can you monetize. Or I was just on a forum with Lavity, and they were talking about how creators are just asking them when it comes to brands wanting to know your rates, how they'll just go to the prompt and ask based on the following or the number of subscribers or the number of insights and how my algorithm looks,
mm.
what would you charge a brand? What would I charge a brand to create maybe a long form content or maybe a reel or a story? What would I charge them? And people have been using that as a base for how they can make their rates. And I thought that was something new that I really want to try to utilize in the future.
Nice, man. Now,
Yeah.
I was super curious, like when you had the content you were creating here in Orlando that weekend,
Yeah.
how do you go about finding people to participate in those type of events with you?
For sure, man. So yeah, you had asked me earlier and I definitely glossed over it, but so I host a quote unquote show. Let me not call it a quote unquote show. It is a show. I
Mm,
host a show on YouTube called Pop the Balloon in Cosplay. And I've been using it to just grow my YouTube following, and it's been doing pretty well. But basically it is a play on the regular show Pop the Balloon, which might be a little more serious of a tone. You've seen the other ones that might be a little more raunchy or ratchet. Well, that we're a happy medium in between where we focus on nerd lore. And when it comes to me finding people for that, first of all, there was a studio that reached out to me in Orlando who is pretty reputable in the cosplay and nerd community. His name is Ozzy, and he reached out to me and he was like, "Yo, bro, I have my own studio here. I love what you're doing with cosplay. Please come to my studio free of charge. Let's do something and work on it." And this didn't happen right away. This was maybe like, actually, yeah, literally a year ago when he asked me. And it just so happened that I'll tell you how perfect it was after I finished telling you about this.
Mm,
But so I ended up going to Orlando. But in order to find those people, I really just had to DM dive, man.
mm,
I got a collab post done with me and Ozzy, who is in Orlando. So he already had a bit of a following. And we created a flyer. I used that as the cover photo. And then for the other 19 photos, I just threw in pictures of my past episodes where, the cosplayers or the people can see how much fun we have with it. They can see that it's not a serious tone. They can see that it's something that they may want to be a part of. And collabing with Ozzy, and we had so many people. I had the caption said, "Comment if you're interested." So cosplayers commented. Now, we didn't get all of the people that we needed right away. So I had to go ahead and DM dive in some organizations. I think in Orlando, there's a place called Ready One.
mm.
I went to their page and I kind of just went through their following tabs, looked at those profile pictures one by one, sent them evergreen message, and kind of just waited to see who was going to respond. So yeah, man, that's all it takes, really. Instagram, the world is your oyster. It makes it so small. I like to say when it was our parents' day and age, the only way that we reconnect with people was at those high school reunions with us as social media content creators, man. And I'll even say that's how I landed my most recent deal. And I have to thank you for that, brother,
Wow.
because yeah, man, I was talking with you about trying to get into Creator Hub, and maybe I shouldn't publicize this, but I was like, man, I want to go in there. I want to check it out, but I didn't get a ticket. You
Mm,
think they'll let me in? So, dude, I didn't even go the back way. I walked right up and I explained it in my situation. I told them I was alumni of Creator Fest, and they was like, yeah, man, it's the last day. Go on in.
nice, nice.
It happened to be, you know how they'll have the itineraries out in front. I don't know what the name of this panel was, but I know you were there. You were on the cross. This isn't the panel that I saw you at, but I saw
Mm,
you posted on your social media. It had this lady named Chloe from Influencer, and
mm.
they had a person of color next to her. Her name is Sigarida, and she's now my manager.
Well, nice.
I met her at Creator Hub, and I didn't even get to speak to her at Creator Hub. But
Mm,
I remember one gentleman standing up and asking a question, and he said, "How can I get involved with your brand management organization?" And her answer was, "Well, first of all, we only service people of color." And I was like, "Oh man, I gotta find out who this chick is." Now she had one of those names that you wasn't really sure
right.
how you could spare. It was Sagarita, and I was searching SISI. But
Mm,
again, going through these Instagrams, going through these LinkedIn accounts, I was just plugging in names that look like that. Followed the other host, Chloe, and then I went through her friends list and I found her and I DM'd her. And from there, she said, "Come on, let's meet." And that was literally last week. And on Sunday, I signed the contract. They haven't made the announcement yet, but
mm.
I think I can say this live that I am now serviced by Influencer Guy Management. And thanks to Creator Hub. Thanks to you, brother.
Nice, man. Congratulations on that, man. Big things coming for sure. Well, cool, man. With that being said, I know you have some big ideas coming up, man. What does the next 6 to 12 months look like for you?
Yeah, dude. My therapist is like, let's take a break from reality TV. I don't know if you know my backstory, but I was on the reality show Survivor some years ago. I guess that's a little bit of my claim to fame, and how I got my following. But right now, it's a sour subject because I was cut from returning to one of the seasons that they have coming up. And, it could have been a blessing in disguise because I would not have been able to fulfill my Snapchat contract had I went. I would not able to have been growing my YouTube channel had I went. And I would not have been able to go to Creator Hub and found this new agency had I went. So hopefully that's going to be me on the up and up. But I say this to say, think what I'm working on now is my own reality series. I'm going to be creating something like a Survivor, something like a Big Brother, something
Mm,
like a Squid Game, but for cosplayers.
mm.
As a matter of fact, I had a crowdfund going for a little while, but it's now closed. However, if you still want to donate, send me a DM. But I'm growing a team of professionals, producers, everything, so that I can do this the right way. I don't want to rush it. I don't say no if 6 to 12 months will be enough time for me to seal the deal on that, but I'm gonna give it a try. I'm gonna put some cosplayers in a quote unquote mansion, you know how the reality shows go, in a
Mm.
house, maybe a process of elimination with pop the balloon so that I can, rope that in with my YouTube series and for an ultimate winner to come at the end of that program. So I'm working on that. I'm sorry, I got everybody texting me now. I'm working on that. I'm going to be working on just trying to continue to be a full-time content creator. So before I left my job to do this, I was a health communication specialist for the Center for Disease Control here in Atlanta.
Mm.
And that kind of went hand in hand with content creating because I was helping run the social media accounts for the CDC. Now, I don't really want to return to that 9 to 5 lifestyle in the CDC life, but the goal is to continue to create so that I don't have to. But if I do need to return, then this will still be something that will help me fund my passion. So in the next 6 to 12 months, I'm really just going to be hoping that my management will help me land brand deals and I will continue to be doing my unique cosplay content with my niche to hopefully take over the world.
And if I could ask, like, what do you feel has worked really well for you in your content created creation, and what's kind of been the most frustrating part of
Ooh, that's a great question. One thing or one key secret that's worked really well for me is telling people to follow me, but not just saying it in the video, not just saying it in the caption, but pinning it in the comments.
it? Mm,
I think that's how my Snapchat grew so vastly so quickly is when I would post a video, let's say for example, I would post something about Super Mario. I would post one of my Super Mario cosplays. It would always get great hits. It actually got great hits around when the Super Mario movie was trending. So think about what's trending right now, do some content based on it, and then you yourself comment on that video and pin your own comment saying, follow me for more Super Mario content or follow me for more whatever is trending right now content,
mm,
because that really will get your viewers' attention or your unfollowers or not even your followers' attention. And that pushes them to follow you. When it comes to frustrations, yeah, I think the frustrations is having a consistent financial plan as a creator,
mm,
which I'm hoping that, me signing with this agency helps to combat that. So, yeah,
mm.
man, that answers that question.
Gotcha. And if you could solve one major challenge today, what would that be?
If I could solve one major challenge today, I think that if I could solve one major challenge, it would be a cross platform type of post. I know they have the cross platforms when it's time to go live, but if there was some way that I could just put a reel into a phone and it would automatically say what I need to say on Snapchat, personalize what I need to say on TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, Threads, and I don't mean just say the same thing verbatim. I mean, say it so that it's curated just for that platform with the hashtags that are trending, with the audience that needs to look at it. If we could find something that does that, and I'm sure AI probably that can figure it out, then
Absolutely.
that would be an issue that I'd love to solve.
That's nice. Cool, man. Do you think that's like an industry-wide issue, or is it more unique to kind of like what you're doing?
I think it's more than what I'm doing, but only because I don't know how many creators are on all of these platforms, and
Right.
maybe that's what they need to improve. You really want to be serviced to wherever you are. Just like I said, I'm trying to give more attention to LinkedIn now
Mm.
because LinkedIn is becoming a competitor in this industry. So, yeah, it's an issue for me right now. The more creators that start getting on all of these platforms, it'll be an issue for them as well. So, yeah.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Well, cool, man. Is the if you could go back to when you just started creating content, and give yourself like one or two really great gems, what would that be?
Honestly, it's going to be the most cliche advice. It's going to be just do it, man. Don't hesitate on it. As soon as people started creating reels, I should have been right in there with it. That's not to say that I didn't get in there quick, but I could have been quicker. And once the early bird gets the worm, so to speak, I could have had millions of followers by now. And not to say that you have to have millions of followers to be successful in this industry,
Right.
but just don't talk about it, be about it. Get it right up there. Another piece that I would give to myself is because I said earlier, we use Instagram as our status quo. One trick that I use is if I have some content that I'm a little bit subconscious about going on Instagram because I might be a little bit embarrassed of it going on there because it may not do too well, test that out on other platforms that you don't know actual people on, like TikTok or Snapchat. um, Growing fan bases there will show people will genuinely help you understand how your content's doing. If you were to post it on Instagram, you may not get the results that you want because people may have a little burnout on you as a content creator. But with a fresh face of viewers and fresh eyes, that always can help reset your creativity.
Nice, man. And if there was other ways, have you been thinking about other ways to kind of monetize the content that you're creating?
Yeah, there's been other ways that I've thought about when it comes to like being a part of selling brand gear. TikTok is really good with reaching out to creators about their TikTok shop. I also run an organization here in Atlanta called Let's Go Cosplay, and I forgot to give them a shout out when it comes to me casting for these YouTube shows. That's the organization that helps me do it. I really have to find a way to monetize that. Well, we already monetize, but we just break even. So we'll
Mm,
throw events, cosplay events around the city. But TikTok recently just posted an application which I submitted for organizations just like this to create a live cohort where everyone in the cohort goes live periodically and you can make millions of dollars. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that we're accepted to that program so that I can get my cosplayers together and we can really try to perfect our craft when it comes to content creating and going live on TikTok, and hopefully that monetize that. Other than that, whenever a money opportunity pops up, I jump at it.
mm.
You just got to be resourceful and aware of what's going on in the space because you never know what could help you.
Awesome, man. I think cosplay is definitely an interesting niche. I had a couple of ideas just kind of pop into my head as you were saying that. But yeah, man, I really appreciate you coming on. How can people get in touch with you? You have an omni-channel presence. Where can people find some of your content?
Yes, sir. Well, first, I am on Instagram at I am Davy. And if brands want to reach out to me, you can email me at imdavy at influencerguidemanagement.com.
Mm.
But every other platform, you can find me at Wears Davy. So that's Uheresdav. I'm on Snapchat primarily. I have my largest following there. Then I'm on TikTok, my second largest following. I've got YouTube that I'm adamantly working on growing, but I have a solid following there. I don't really use Twitter too much now, but I am Where's Davy there. I use Threads probably more than Twitter now. And as I said throughout the call, I'm really trying to build that LinkedIn now. And so Facebook and LinkedIn, you can just find me at Davy Rickenbacker.
Gotcha, man. Well, Davey, I appreciate you, man, for pulling up, giving some real game today. Content isn't just about posting for likes. It's about building trust, building systems, and building legacies. So if you've been listening, here's the takeaway. Your voice belongs everywhere your vision belongs, right? So don't box yourself into one platform. The podcast, the short form clips, the long form pieces, they all serve one mission, which is to make your story undeniable. So stop waiting for perfect. Stop worrying about who's watching. Start creating because consistency compounds and clarity cuts through every algorithm, right? So this has been Legacy Decoded. I'm Kalei Poteet, the architect, and let's make this count. Again, David, I appreciate you pulling up, man.
Appreciate you, brother. Peace.
Thank you, sir.